America, we have many holidays. All kinds of stuff. Of course, you've heard of Christmas holidays and Thanksgiving. And I do believe that Valentine's Day has arrived in India. We celebrate President's Day and Veterans Day and Labor Day. But we do not celebrate Guru Day. We do not celebrate Guru Purnima. And I believe that that is a big mistake. So today I'm going to talk about why we should celebrate Guru Day. When we're born into this world, most of us have parents. And some don't. Some are orphans. But when you have a family, you have parents, as you're able to perceive the importance of that relationship, then you enter into it and recognize it and appreciate it. The parent takes care of the child, feeds the child, shelters the child, educates the child, disciplines the child, celebrates the child, does all of these things. The child doesn't always fully recognize the value of that care. But most of the time, eventually they do. And especially when they themselves become parents, then they will recognize how much it really takes to be a parent. But then what about orphans? Orphans are alone. Orphans don't realize the benefits of a parent. They may see others having parents and wish that they also had parents, but the very nature, the instinct for survival takes us to doing the best with what we have. We try to make the best of whatever is given to us. I would say, I would suggest that every soul on the planet that is unaware of their guru is an orphan. If we do not recognize that, what does the parent do? The parent brings us to helps us to attain our highest potential. This is one of the ways that we can describe the value of the guru. The guru's very job description is to bring us to the highest realization of the truth of our relationship to God. And orphans who are in the orphanage, they see people coming occasionally looking for children. And those children, they brighten up over a period of time and they recognize that if I make a good impression, then maybe they'll take me home. So they'll put on the nicest clothes they can, put a smile on their face, do whatever they can. Of course, some of them are angry. Some young children are angry as orphans, and they may actually try to reject the parent and act like, I don't need you, who are you? You don't care about me, you don't love me. And when we do that, which isn't that really the way most people feel in life? They feel like nobody really cares about them. The world doesn't know me or care about me. People are trying to pick on me. People are, it's a kind of a defense mechanism. But this defense mechanism is the ego. The ego does not always serve us well. The ego can cause us to reject that which might be most beneficial. When we're caught in the ego, we don't necessarily evaluate with openness and correctness, even common sense sometimes, the circumstances in which we're in. We react with our emotions. We react with ideas that don't necessarily lead us to a happier circumstance. The truth of life is that every action that we take in life is somehow connected to us trying to become happy or to be more happy. At minimum, to avoid suffering. But most people recognize, or at least many do, that happiness is not just the absence of suffering, but it's the experience of some greater joyful potential. Many people in the world who are tied up in outwardness do not recognize the value of inner cultivation, of the need to be aware of and to nurture our inner self. I've taught a lot of classes in India and in different locations and to quite a few institutes of education. And I attended at one point a seminar on how to apply the Vedas to modern education. And what I found is that all of the speakers before me in various ways said, this is a really good idea. But none of them said, and here's how you do it. The guru for each of us is that one that comes into our lives and says, and here's how you do it. Here is the things that you can do in order to achieve your highest potential for happiness. If we want to take advantage fully of the celebration of Guru Purnima, we have to recognize what that guru-ness, that's not a word, but what that guru-ness means to us. How are we individually affected by it? Are we the child that rejects help, that rejects the possibility of help, that rejects a vision of what that help can lead us to? Or are we the child that embraces it, that not only accepts it, but consciously appreciates it and enters into it? Guru Purnima is a day in which we celebrate, we use the example of Guru Vyasa, who's given this great epic, the Mahabharata, and within that, the greatest scripture on the earth, the Bhagavad Gita. But are we celebrating this ancient time, this ancient teaching that happened thousands of years ago? Or are we celebrating the transformation that can take place inside of us right here, right now? This is the key thing to understand, is that we do not want to just celebrate the past. The reason we're celebrating the past is because it has a power to be celebrated right here, right now, within our own lives. And it's a reminder. It's a reminder that the relationship between the Guru and the Chela is the most sacred relationship that we have in life. There is, many people will, when you're young and ready to embrace the world, you start looking for your soulmate. Now, your soulmate is theoretically going to help you to have a happy life. But you know that this soulmate, as most people understand it, when one of you dies, then that relationship is over. And then maybe you see them in the afterlife. The detail of that, we're not absolutely sure of. That is a temporary relationship. There's a beautiful story that Yoganandaji told about one of the disciples of Jesus Christ. He was the most notorious disciple of Jesus Christ. Who is that? Judas. Judas really got himself into quite a bit of trouble. I mean, Peter, he betrayed Christ by denying that he even knew him. But Judas, he sent the bad guys. He sent the bad guys to go get him. And as a result of that, Jesus was crucified. Now, I'm sure that God could have found another person to do that duty. But the truth is that we all, even as dedicated disciples, we will make mistakes. And we just don't even know the end result of those mistakes at times. But when the guru sees the disciple make a mistake, the guru doesn't take vengeance. The guru doesn't have any bad feelings about it. The guru recognizes that no matter what we do, whether it's beneficial or not beneficial to our own comfort, the end result of all forward momentum through our journey in the creation leads to God. It doesn't matter how many mistakes we make. We will always eventually find God. There is no such thing as eternal damnation. You can never attain oneness with Spirit. That simply doesn't exist. So Judas, who really made a big mistake, he was reincarnated. We don't really know how many times after that incarnation. But we know, according to Yoganandaji, that he reincarnated as a disciple of Sri Ramakrishna. And there was a point in that lifetime that Judas, the soul, had expiated the sin that he had done. And Christ appeared to Ramakrishna and said, give him the touch. Free him. Because you see, God, unmanifested God, always works through channels. And Ramakrishna gave Judas the touch and he became liberated. The idea that somehow someone could not only care about us, but care enough to follow us through incarnations. That's a lot of caring. That is a lot of caring. But the true guru, see, in India, the word guru is used in many ways. You have the music guru, the financial guru, the cooking guru. But the Sant guru, the true guru, is one with God. The true guru has gone through the journey through the creation just the way we are and has graduated to conscious oneness with infinite spirit. And as a part of that journey, has had enough caring to share the blessings. And from that side, what happens is it's kind of similar to birth, coming into this world. When a soul comes into this world, they are attracted by the magnetic circumstance of that birth opportunity. And in that moment, many souls may be attracted, but one or sometimes more than one get in. And that magnetic attraction is caused by the energy magnetic karma of those souls that we all carry. Our samskars create a magnetic pattern that is drawn to the circumstances, even from the astral world into this world, or as we travel through this world, the circumstances that we come into contact with. So in this case, in being born into a physical form, we are drawn magnetically to that circumstance. In the soul's case of the guru, it's that same principle. when the soul puts out enough energy, whether consciously or unconsciously, over an extended period of time, it could be many incarnations, and many lesser teachers that get you to the point where you have the magnetic power to draw a response from the divine. And then, as the scriptures say, you don't even need to seek the Guru will come to you. I don't know if any of you have heard me tell this story, but it's always, it's one of the good ones to remember. There was a lecture that Kriyanandaji gave back in, I believe it was in 1974, 1975. And I happened to be there because it was my job to record his talks. And we were in the hall of a bookstore in Los Angeles, California. And in this discourse, the subject happened to be the guru-disciple relationship. And he was speaking for some time. It was a good-sized group. And I was sitting over on the side, kind of in the middle, halfway back. So I could see him to my right, but then straight ahead, I could see all of the people watching him, which was interesting too. You know, it's interesting to see how people are receiving what you yourself appreciate, but are others appreciating as well. And so I happened to be watching in the middle of the audience, just as Kriyanandaji said, and so, when the disciple is ready, the guru will come to them. And in that very moment, a picture of a well-known guru fell off the wall, face up into the lap of a fellow in the audience. And he looked down and he went, "That's my guru! That's my guru!" And Kriyanandaji, who, when he wasn't wearing his glasses at that time, he couldn't see the people in the back clearly. He went, "Oh, what happened?" So somebody explained, he said, "Yeah, you see, this is what happens." When I came onto this path, I found Autobiography of a Yogi in a home that a stranger took me to this home to help me out and keep me overnight. And when I walked in the door, there was Autobiography of a Yogi on the table, and I looked at it and went, "Oh, I just spent the next 3 days reading it. It just appeared." Each in our own way have had this experience if our Guru has come to us. If the Guru has not come to you, the key is to put out the magnetism that will draw that opportunity. Just because you're here today, I don't know all of you. Some of you may be thinking, well, I wonder if Yogananda is my Guru. Maybe so, maybe not. But when we put out, when we broadcast to the universe the very question, Lord, make it clear to my mind and to my heart, who is my Guru? And then a response will come. A day, a week, a month, a year. It depends on how much energy we put out. That circumstance will take place. I've met many people who read Autobiography of a Yogi, put it on a shelf, and basically didn't do anything about it for 5, 10, 20 years. But then one day, they picked it up again. And oftentimes when they've talked about it, they said, you know, I knew it was there, I knew I needed to do something, but I never did anything. This is what can happen. We get the opportunity, and then we don't take advantage of it. Like the orphan rejects the possibility because they don't trust, because they've been hurt. They don't trust that something really good can take place. And in the case of reunion with oneness with God, it's very hard to imagine. We read the lives of the saints and we think, well, I'm no saint. But the Guru says that we're all saints in training. in the early years of Ananda, we had a group of mainly monks, but I think there were some others involved with it. They started a club. It was called the Future Saints Club. I love that because they took on this attitude that said this can happen through God's grace. What is the greatest expression of God's grace? The Guru. Because it is the Guru's job. Once the Guru has made the commitment, unless you turn away, you've got a guaranteed helper. But of course, you have to do your part of the relationship. If you ignore the Guru will stand back. So if we want to take the most advantage of the Guru-disciple relationship, we have to give it our full attention. So Guru Purnima is a day. But for the Chela, every day is Guru Purnima. When we keep the thought of the Guru in our hearts. This is what we want to do. This is what we want to live in. This consciousness that we are living with the Guru. I believe it was in 2006. Kriyanandaji had completed the what was called at that time the Material Success Through Yoga Principles course, and we had a big media day and the official launch of the Material Success Through Yoga Principles. And we rented a hall at the Trident at the Hilton in Gurgaon, and we really tried to make a big splash. And we got some news media people there to get the word out about the benefits of this course. And that was a worthy task, but there was something that happened during Kriyanandaji's talk that I thought was so revealing and inspiring. And I believe that he said it purely by accident. But it was one of those things that you say, and then you realize the truth of it after you've said it. He was trying to introduce himself, assuming that some people didn't know who he was and his history with Yogananda. And so he said, and so I came to the ashram, and I've lived with Yogananda for over 60 years. But he died in 1952. No, wait a minute. I've lived with Yogananda for over 60 years, but he died in 1952? But that told the story of his discipleship. He lived with Yogananda every day. We can live with the Guru every day if we open our hearts and our attention to that truth. It's not just a potential, it's a truth. The Guru, Yogananda said, he went through the minds of every disciple every day. He knows what's going on. This is a great opportunity for us. This is the greatest opportunity for us, is to dedicate ourselves on Guru Purnima, but on every day, to living as Kriyanandaji did, with the Guru every day. Namaskar.